sorry. We are finishing off the Hagah in Perek Yud Gimel, which talks about the Daled Elamais. And we just finished learning the Olam Hadaled, but let's go through that again because that's really the punchline which is going to bring us to Nefesh HaChaim. And he says here, if you have the Hagah, let's do it one more time. Olam Hadaled, the fourth world, which is the world that we live in. I guess that, in a way, that's the most important of the whole situation here. Olam Hadaled hu Gemar Meleches Kol Ha'olamai Shekidamuhu. That the Olam Hadaled, the world of Asiya, should be understood as the Gemar Malacha. It's the finishing world. Finishing is a big thing, meaning you have there's so many different levels to building, let's say, a house. So, you have the plans, maybe that's like Mashal Ta'atzilus. You have the actual construction, which is giving it some shape of a building, which is maybe like the world of Bria. You're actually taking from plans to cement. And then you have Yetzira, which is giving it real form. Then the Asiya is the finishing touches. You're actually making it into a usable finishing thing. It's hard to say which is more important. How do you say which is more important? But the point is, we live in the world of Asiya, or more importantly, our job is in the world of Asiya. So like if you bring in a finisher, his job is not to pour cement. It's good to know how the cement is built, poured, and how the building is made, and what the plans were originally. But it's you see where my head is, by the way. But our world is the world of Asiya, right? I'm a decorator. I'm a finisher. I'm in the world of Asiya.
Isn't it also like if you build a house but you don't move into it or do anything in it, then what was the point of building it?
Right. What was the point of building it? So the let's not forget the Nimshal. So Hashem made the world. That's the important point here. Hashem made the world, and He made many olamais, and there's a whole process to the world which is fascinating to know. And it has relevant nafkaminas, like even for the for the finishing guy, it's a nafkamina. How is this house made? What is it made out of? What was the original plan? That's all very, very important. But it's also important to understand that we're in the world of Asiya. That's where we live. And hu Gemar Meleches, and all of this drasha I'm saying, from the idea of Gemar Melacha. Gemar Melacha is Tikkun. You're chayiv on Shabbos for Gemar Melacha. Tikkun keli, finishing something. You have a beautiful keli, you have a wonderful piece of china. It's beautiful. It's worth $1 million. But you're not allowed to toivel it on Shabbos because toiveling it makes the Gemar keli. That's what makes it into a keli that you can use, tachlis. Otherwise, what is it? It's a museum piece. It's something to think about, something to look at. The bowl is made to put salad in, so if you can't put the salad in it, there's no Gemar Malacha. So that's this is important. Malachim have one job in the world of Bria, and Malachim have a different job in the world of Yetzira, and Malachim, which are us, have a job in the world of Asiya. This is where we're working. This is our job. This is where we are. We happen to live in the world of Asiya. Maybe we could have been a malach in the world of Bria, different department. We're in the Asiya department, and this is where we work. So we're the finishers, the Gemar Malacha. In the world of building, they say it's hard to find a good finisher. Like that's like the hard thing, and Kablanim don't like to finish. Like the finishing touches.
You can never find them.
Right, that's right. They're beside, they're minister, I just similarly, and I think it's a good muscle. Like I always think to myself, I've evolved a lot in book publishing and in other things like that. The difference in everything, I think, probably in book publishing, in art, probably in programming, probably in building, the difference between a professional and a do-it-yourselfer an amateur is not in the big things. It's the tiny little process. Like everybody can get it ba'arech right. You go to Ace or Home Depot or wherever you go and you buy stuff and you put it up, but it's never, it's never exactly right. So the way you can tell if something was a professional job is the God is in the details. Yes. It's all what? By Suleiman, yeah. It's really that detail, which is the whole. So like 99%, you got right, but that's that piece. So when we're talking about being an olam ha'asiyah and being doing sort of the gemar malacha, which are the finishing touches of the bria, the chap is to do it like a professional, to do it correctly, and to really understand Torah, and to really understand halacha, and to really understand what we're doing, not like sort of get it right. That's the. I'll always in my memory that this guy who was a rabbi, he walked into yeshiva years ago when I was in yeshiva. I was yeshiva bacher, but he walked into yeshiva, and he said that he saw everybody learning, and be'iyud and with lumdus, and and he said, I remember him saying that when he was in yeshiva, he was at that time maybe 40 years older than me. He says when I was in yeshiva, so we used to spend hours and hours on one Rambam, to understand it. He says, and I've grown so that now I look at the Rambam in 2 minutes, I get the whole thing. And I thought to myself, never. Like he lost the art of detail. I mean, okay, now I look at the Rambam. What are they all drain around about? Like, talk about this Rambam. Read the Rambam. That's what the Rambam says. But what he lost was the ability for the detail of it and the the nuances of the Rambam and lush of the Rambam. You have to really be lig. For that you have. That's the beauty of those years of being in yeshiva. That we should never stop our kids. Never deprive our kids of to get to the. Even if we ourselves are deprived, to let them find that nuance. Whatever happens, happens. But like to realize that there's a nuance there. That's the gemar malacha that we as people are chayvin. Heid b'libudat Torah, heid b'shmiras hamitzvah. So that's what it's all about. So gemar malacha is kol ha'olama shekadamuha. All the worlds that preceded us were the gemar malacha. V'tikuna al tachlis hatoiv ha'amiti. We have to be masakin these worlds. Al tachlis hatoiv ha'amiti. Shehem. I'm sorry. Shehem b'tachlis hatoiv ha'amiti shekiven hu yisbarach shmai b'inyan klal habriya kulai. This is getting involved with the original kavanah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is what it's all about, anyway. It's like the whole point is for this world. What's it all about? All of the Kabbalah, all of the Atzilus, all the Bria, all these here. It's all about, my kitchen. That's where it all comes down to. We're the base of Mikdash. Hashem looked at everything. Read the words. Kol asher asa asiya. Hidei toiv moed. Amar b'reishis Rabbah, the Medrash actually famously says, Hinei toiv moed, hinei toiv adam. What's the toiv moed? Toiv adam. B'chein hu sham parsha tes, parsha dalet. Amar Reb Shimon ben Elazar.
Is it a
Pardon?
word?
Moed.
I'm not here.
Moed and Adam.
The same words.
Yeah, the same words.
That's
Yeah.
the same word. It's
Ma'od. Yeah, I'm sorry. Ma'od is Adam, turn around, right. So Tov, Ma'od, Zu Adam. Yes. V'cheinu sham parsha tes, u'ba parsha dalet sham, the Medrash, it says, Amar Reb Shimon ben Elazar. Well, this is a fascinating language that he brings here from the Medrash. I looked it up. Amar Reb Shimon ben Elazar. B'tchilas briyasai shel olam. Nis'ava HaKadosh Baruch Hu lasei shutafais b'tachtonim. That from the very beginning, the seed of creation, from the very beginning, HaKadosh Baruch Hu always had in mind that he wanted a shutaf b'tachtonim. That's a big upgrade. Because we look at ourselves as avodim of Hashem. Bonim of Hashem. Shutaf. Shutaf. Yeah, there's two things about a shutaf which is intriguing to me. One is equal partner. I mean, so God becomes the silent partner.
It doesn't have to be equal.
It doesn't have to be equal, but it's a partner. Partner is a partner.
Hashem, so Hashem, it doesn't have to be.
Okay, it doesn't have to be equal, but it's a partner. It's vitalist. So a partner is a partner. So that in itself is a huge chiddush. In other words, we're not a salesman. We're not avodim. We're not the maid. Owner. Part owner.
This is with what we said before about the cycle that whatever we do start operating the upper words.
Yes. Yes. So yes. So shutfus, in my mind, you tell me if you agree with me, has a different connotation also, and that is, if you and I are partners, it's partners with a goal. Like we have a goal. Like or we have a common goal. If you're business partners, we have a goal. We both want to come together and do something, and we'll make money. If you're a partner with your wife, so you have a common goal to bring the Shekhinah into your home and to children, etc. But this is interesting because what does it mean to be a shutaf with HaKadosh Baruch Hu? So what's the common goal? You're saying a big thing there. In other words, the positive shot is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants a dira b'tachtoinu, and He made us a partner. But that's all for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a funny kind of a shutfus. It's like, let's be partners. I'll make the money. I've been in different partnerships over the years, spiritual and it's usually like I'll make the money, you spend it. Like it's a good partnership here. Like my wife's also has that kind of partnership. So what's the shutafos with HaKadosh Baruch Hu if his whole tachlis of making the world is to make a dira b'tachtonim? So you want to make a dira b'tachtonim, but I'm making you a dira b'tachtonim. So you're saying, well, no, that there's tikkun olam, but the whole purpose of the olam is that there should be a dira b'tachtonim.
It has to be that we have.
Why are we as partners don't gain from that reality?
Oh.
Why is that not our goal?
So that's what I want to speak out. So it's, yes, he wants to make a dira b'tachtonim. That's kilo. I'm speaking words that I'm just saying words. That's something that Hashem wants. But there's also a matan schar. And the schar is that we're being masakin our neshama even when it's not in this world. Kilo.
Well, can we say that the deal with Tachani is be'etzem what's good for us?
It's good for us, but you could say even more than that. You could say that in the meantime, we have our neshama has nitzchias. But besides her being good for God, it's the shutaf is, I get a world, Hashem says. Again, you and Hashem should forgive me for being reductionist here, but I'm just trying to explain it. That Hashem says, okay, I get a world, you get eternity. So I'm getting a little bit of you, and you're getting a little bit of me, or a lot of me. Because now, just like I'm netzach, you're netzach. So it really is a shutfus, which means that the chiddush here is that the way that we can eternalize ourselves, which is long after our life is over here in this world, whether eternalizing ourselves means the Gan Eden Elyon or whether it means the Gan Eden Tachton, whether it means with Mashiach, whether it means Chiyas HaMesim, whatever it means, whatever eternity means, and I'm very mistopic in that sugi, what does it mean? But whatever it means, and it means to say that the way to eternalize yourself is to hook into my eternity. There is no other way to eternalize yourself. You must be my shutaf. You want to reap the profits, you must be my shutaf. So if a person lives in this world, and it's pretty serious mussar we're learning from Kabbalah here. If somebody comes into this world and lives in this world and says, I don't want anything to do with my partner. It's like, I'm just doing my own thing. Okay, do your own thing. That lasts 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, and you finish doing your own thing. But if you're a shutaf with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, now you're in the business, you're a partner.
This is both to non-Jews and Jews and non-Jews alike.
Everybody's got to be a partner on some level, if they want to be eternal. So a non-Jew can also be eternalized.
But is that his tafkid? I mean, like, because when he says,
But it's a lesser position, an executive position. Right. But okay, Beseder. But they're not only goyim, trees, rabbits. It's but I don't think they have a hard time with it, rabbits, because rabbits or squirrels. So automatically they don't have bechira chavshus, I don't think. So automatically they're doing the Ratzon Hashem. They're a shutah. This is all part of the world. But a person who has bechira chavshus, malachim have no problem with this either. So malachim are like squirrels. They have no problem with it because they're just doing what they're doing. This is what they do. It's like it's natural to them. Adam is complicated. The person is complicated because for whatever Hashem did in His divine wisdom, He gave us a choice not to do this. I guess it's a high level. It's a high level executive where are you in or are you not in? I mean, this is if you have a big law firm, there's a big difference between being a partner and being a lawyer. You could be the best lawyer in the world, but if you're not a partner, you're not a partner. You're not. Are you in or are you not in? This is a whole different story. You have to be able to take the win. You have to be able to take the loss. You have to be able to take the pain. But then you own the law firm. You're a partner in the law firm. So So here we're not talking about a law firm, or we're not talking about a construction company. We're talking about eternity, and the only way to hook into eternity is to do something eternal for the world. Now, by the way, I do think that that some, like as the words of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, Yesh koilo elamai b'sha'achas. I mean, of course, the correct way is you're a partner all life, all your life, every day. You put on your tefillin and you put on, that's the way to do it. No question about that. But there's also this concept of Yesh koilo elamai b'sha'achas, that sometimes you can do something in this world which is so heroic spiritually, so heroic that you can really save a community, save a Jew, save a human being, save the planet, whatever you did. You did something b'shah achas, and we find even Rishoyim that did something b'shah achas. Okay, you bought it. But on that the Gemara says that I think it's 6 times in Shas, if I'm not mistaken, that when these stories happened, that Rishoyim turned Tzadikim, like for instance in Gemara Avodah Zarah Daf Vav, where it says Roman Katia Bar Shalom. That was what he called. That was a fake name, Katia Bar Shalom. It was a Roman governor, and at the end he had to give testimony about the Jewish community, whether they should be killed or not killed. The Romans were occupying Israel. So the Gemara says in Avodah Zarah that this, as the story was, the Roman emperor. This is history. I mean, this is history. The Roman emperor said, "Just kill the Jews. That's the best way to do it." The question was it was like a Hitlerian thing. What is the solution? What is the solution to the Jewish problem? Do we conquer Eretz Yisrael? Do we make them slaves? Do we? What do we do with them? And Hitler's final solution was you just got to kill them. And if you read Mein Kampf, I'm not necessarily recommending it, but I did read it. But if you read Mein Kampf, it's so evil and interesting, the way his mind thought. But what he said is it had a sense of history. Hitler, Yivach Shemo v'Zichro, there was a sense of history to say, people have tried all kinds of things with the Jews. Paro tried to make them into slaves, and Nebuchadnezzar tried to send them into Golos. Nothing worked. You can't get rid of these people. That's what he says. You can't get, you can't keep these things. The only thing to do is to kill them. There is no other. You have to exterminate them. The final solution. Okay, surprise, that didn't work either. Here we are talking about it, but like academically, even that didn't work, Baruch Hashem. But it worked when it worked, But it's interesting. Hence the term final solution. But the Gemara says that the Roman emperor in Rome said that he thinks that the only answer coming into Israel is to just kill everybody, exterminate the Jews. That's not about Charbon Beis Hamikdash or Golus. The Nebuchadnezzar did that, didn't work. They just killed the Jews. So Katia Bar Shalom, the Gemara says, stood up in front of the Roman court, and he said that. So interesting. He got up in front of the Roman court and he said, he says he wants to say two. Go ahead. I want to say two things. First of all, chado di efshar. You're never going to be able to do it because he darshan the pasuk according to the Gemara. He says, the Jews are ka'ar baruchos hashamayim. Just like the arba ruchas, the world can't live without ruach. The world can't live without Jews. So he's saying a deep thing, like the ruach of the world. The Jewish people, you're not going to be able to kill them. Go get rid of the wind. You can make a wall, but you can't get rid of the wind per se. The world won't exist without wind. And then he says, and also, even if you would succeed in killing them, exterminating the Jewish people, you're not going to do it. But even if you did do it, nikra lecha, everyone's going to call you a malchus katia. You're going to be a crippled malchus. You're killing out a whole population. I mean, look ahead in history. Hitler said, "Let's kill out all the Jews." But okay, so now who's going to heal all the illnesses? Who's going to invent all the computer chips? And who's going to do science? Malchus Katia. There's a big loss here. Where it says the Roman emperor said, "Here's a Hilchos Rome." It says you're right. But the only thing with being right is that man dezacha b'malka chava b'malka. That if you're right in front of the king, meaning you one-upped the Roman emperor, we have to kill you for being right. We know about such relationships also. That, okay, you're right, I have to kill you. Is that covered for the malchus? That somebody else should be more right than me. So thank you. We won't kill the Jews, but we have to kill you. So the Gemara says a story that they took him and they decided to throw him into, he stuck up for the Jews. So they took him and they decided to throw him into a kamumya chalula. Rashi says that's a big pot of boiling oil. That's how they decided to kill him. Because he stuck up for the Jews and he went up the king, they have to keep order. So as he walked into his death, so Yatsa Baskol V'Amra Vaila Ilfa D'Layavi Michsa. Woe unto the ship that has not brought its meches, not paid its meches. Rashi says that it's like a ship at sea that has millions of dollars worth of merchandise, but what good is it, and this is Tahar Inyan, what good is it if it can't dock on shore and sell the things because it didn't pay the couple $1,000 meches? It's stuck at sea. What's the point of this if it's stuck in meches? There's no point. So Rashi says what the Baskol was telling him was, chaval, that you're dying like such a tzaddik, but you're an orel. Chaval, because Avram Avinu, it's all Rashi, Avram Avinu Yoshev al Pesach Gan Eden va'orol lo yichanes by. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sits, Avram Avinu sits at the Pesach of Gan Eden and says, to this place you can't come, go somewhere, but to this place you can't come if you didn't have a bris milah. So the Gemara says, Nafal al Reisha Dar Lasa, before he was killed, he did some kind of a belly flop and did some kind of a crude bris milah on himself. And he screamed out before he died. His last words were Yavi Michsi, Yavi Michsi. Now I presume this Baskol was something that he heard in his head from Shemayim, but he screamed out his last words, according to our tradition, was Yavi Michsi, Yavi Michsi. I brought my meches. It's interesting. All the Litva Shapaiskim talk about this, and they say, but Habal v'loi parak, v'loi bal. Where was the Betzitza? All kinds of talk. But okay, there's a Ureya and a Rashba. There's all kinds of. But the story is the story. But the point I want to make out of the story is that the Gemara ends off by saying Rabbi, whenever he told Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, whenever he told the story, the base Medrash Rabbi. So you understand the history. He was at the end of the Roman, who's finished. He was the Gesher HaShalom. He's the one who was able to, him and Antoninos were able to make peace with the Romans. And make peace with the Romans, the killing stopped. That was after the Hadrian decrees, after everything. So Rabbi told the story to his Talmidim about Katia Bar Shalom, V'haya boiche, and he would cry, but he would tell the story. It's hard for me not to cry and tell stories. What a story, right? So V'haya boiche, and he would say that some people spend their whole life Yesh mi shekoina elamai b'harbe shanim V'yesh misha kaina alamai b'shah achas. So this man, in this 1 minute, who knows what he did? Maybe he killed Jews. Who knows? We don't know what he did. But in this one moment, he was kona olamai. Says the Barsha on this Gemara that bepashtus haya nira, says the Barsha, the lashon of Avodah Zarah, shahaya boicha b'chiyah shel simcha. What was the crying? What were the tears of Rebbe? What was he crying? It's an emotional story. That's not good enough for the Barsha. Emotion. What was the emotion? Was the emotion an emotion of simcha that this guy was kona olamo? So he says that hayabocha bechi shel tsar, says the Barsha. Says he thinks that he was crying a bechi of tsar, that chaval on somebody who was kona olamo b'shah achas, because if he would have been kona olamo b'harbe shalim, how much more so, how much more Gan Eden would have had, how much more Sipuk HaNefesh for eternity, how much more eternity he would have had he have realized this 30 years earlier or 40 years earlier that he could have done it. So yes, he's Koda Olabo, can't take it away. But the Bechia is that it's chaval for a person to do tshuva on his deathbed. It's good that he does tshuva on his deathbed, better late than never. But it's better early than late. And that says the Marsha, a very important Marsha, I think, was the Bechia of Rabbi when he told the story of Ketiyah Bar Shalom. Okay.
So when you say this few such stories of Basco, every time say B'shachas has a negative component to it?
According to the Marsha. I don't know if everybody agrees with this. So this is the idea here. So let's get back to the lashon of the Medrash. This is a chiddush of the Medrash that Rabbi Yaacov Haber brings, that when we do, one more time, B'tchilas briyaseh shel olam lis'ava HaKadosh Baruch Hu la'aseh shutafus b'tachtonim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu always wanted to have a shutaf. Not a subject, but a shutaf. Wanted to have a partner in the Bria. Let me just tell you that the Medrash darshans it as follows. This is the drasha of the Medrash. The Medrash says that this is Medrash, the very beginning of Medrash Rabbah and Bereshis. And the Medrash tells us that it says, Vayerev Vayiboker Yoim, what's the first one? Yom Echad. What's the second one? So says the Medrash, I should have said Rishon, Sheni, Shlishi, Revi, or Echad, Shnayim, Shloisha. There's an inconsistency in the counting over here. So says the Medrash that the Rishon, it doesn't say Rishon, but by the Korbanos of the Nesiim, there it says Vayi Bayom HaRishon, that on the Yom HaRishon he brought a korban. So Hashem waited, says the lashon of the Medrash is, I just don't want to spend the time reading it to you, trust me on this. The lashon of the Medrash is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu waited for the Rishon all the way until the Mishkan. And at the Mishkan, that's where it became Rishon, meaning that in the meantime we're Yom Echad. When will the world really be going, happening, moving, clicking? The answer is when there's an Adam that's a shutaf with me. Dira b'tachtonim with a shutfus. So the Nesiim were shutafais to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Comes Rav Shimon Rav Shimon Elazar. Medrash says v'yesh oimrim Shimon bar Nachmani, v'yesh oimrim Rav Shimon bar Ami. Whoever said it said it. But I don't know. There's 3 gersos there in the Medrash that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that Metchilas Briyaseh Shel Adam, from the moment he said Yom Echad, that was a sort of a temporary placeholder for the ultimate tachlis of the world, which was only to take place when we were active in doing our part. And that active, interestingly, didn't come with Adam or with Avram or with Yitzchak or Yaakov. It only came when it came to the point of Dira B'Tachtonim, where we really made a Mishkan, and we actually brought Karbanos and did Avodas Hashem. We actually did something with our gold, silver, and like until then. So, hence the Gemara says that Alpayim, the first 2,000 years, was Tayu Vavayu. No, it was Tayu Vavayu. So it was only the after the Tayu Vavayu, the year 2000, when Avram Avinu already had Yitzchak. So it was only then that the world started to come into Tachlis. In other words, Avram Avinu brought a korban, and Yitzchak brought korbanos, and when do we get the real Rishon? When there's a Mishkan. Klal Yisrael has the Mishkan to be able to do But he did.
Where do we fit now in Olam Asiya? I thought Olam Asiya is all about that. So why do we need to wait for the Mishkan, the Mikdash, to be able to actualize that partnership?
Well, I'm not sure what you mean, but in other words, with the Beis HaMikdash, we have a full actualization of the Shutfas. And in the meantime, we do mitzvahs. We make Mikdash Mat in shuls, and we do chesed, but we're gullus. So the gullus means the business is not working completely. The business is not working completely. The Shutfas is complete, because you see there was Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, it wasn't working completely. So our Shutfas now is not 100% in order until we build the Beis HaMikdash, which we should do already.
But having said that, if now the shutaf, it could be one brings 70, one brings 30, or one brings the nitzchias, and one brings the.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, one shutaf can gorer pull the other shutaf completely with them. You obligate your shutaf into what you do.
Yeah, not only that,
You're saying the Yisoid in business, you mean?
Well, I'm saying
Even a 1% partner has
right. He obligates his 99, and in this context, what we do here obligates a Kodesh Baruch.
If you have 1/10% of any business, you're owning chametz on Pesach. It's a shutuf is a shutuf. So right now we're a shtickle shutuf, and with the Mishkan we have a shutuf. But it's so you have here. Let's just leave it with this. You have here two major chidushim. One is that really the Olam HaSiyah is your main world in the sense. Not that it's bigger or more important necessarily, but in the sense that that's the whole purpose of the whole thing. Like it might not even be the most expensive part. It might not be the main part. It might not be, but it's the Olam Atikah to the Olam Gbar Malacha. That's the world that we live in, and therefore that's our job. And then there's a bigger chiddush, and we're shutafim in that. This is shutfus over here, and a shutaf can only mean, to summarize, a shutaf can't be that I'm working for you. So it's not just we're working for Hashem. This is a big chiddush here. A shutfus can only mean that I'm benefiting. So the benefit of the shutfus has to only be what is the benefit? We don't benefit schar mitzvah b'hayal v'leika. How much you're a shutaf, you get to have the corner office, very nice. But like we have a nice time in this world. But it's not the ikar. So the ikar is that we're a shutaf with HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this eternity thing. So go into this world for the number of years that you're here and create something eternal. And if you hook into eternity, then you're an eternal soul. Etc. So that's the shutfas. And the more we're mishtativ in the shutfas, harbe shonim, the more we're mishtativ in the shutfas, every time we're mishtativ in the shutfas, we're adding eternity to our life. It shouldn't be. Thank God with us. It's not like Rebbe has nothing to cry about. This is the order of the thing. But the ultimate shutfas is going to be with just like it was in the Torah. Yom Rishon is the Yom Rishon of the Bayis Shlishi, which is third binyan, which we should build already. We stopped.
Did you build it already?
Let's build it. I don't know. All the Jews are obsessed with putting the U.S. embassy in Yerushalayim, but the Beis HaMikdash in Yerushalayim. Who cares where the U.S. embassy is? We care where the Chilean embassy is, or where the South American, the Uruguay embassy is. Okay, nice, all that's going to do is create war. What was that going to do? Well, the Beis HaMikdash in Yerushalayim. We're going to create a war already. That's the no. Right? Build the Beis HaMikdash in Yerushalayim. It's the Seder. That's where we're holding down in history. So. To paskin that we shouldn't build a Beis HaMikdash in Yerushalayim, and tell you something I heard just before. It's very very interesting. Rav Moshe Shapiro, Schusa Yagid Aleinu. So I was also to be somewhat of a Talmud of his. 2008, when President, there's a little politics here, when President Obama was elected. So I went to a very exclusive shir. You have to be invited to the shir on Friday afternoon. And if somebody came and wasn't invited, he stopped talking. That was his, just stop talking. He would sit there for 15 minutes until the person went. That was his derech. But in any case, it was this was all, Rabbanim, Rosh Yeshivas, in this particular shir, 20 or so people. So in that shir, I remember the day, or the day after, I don't remember what the election was, but a day or two after the election, President Obama was elected President of the United States of America, and obviously everybody was talking about that. That was the big dibur, and everybody was talking about it. It was like a tumult, and when Moshe walked into the room, it was actually quite a nice thing. No matter what, and these were very chashuv people, many of them with long white beards. When Moshe walked into the room to give the shir, so completely quiet. He walked in, everybody stood up out of covet, everybody, until he sat down. It was all tumult stopped. And it was hard to stop the tumult because they're in the middle talking about Obama, so it was. But that was the minute. Everybody stood up and waited. It was a nice cover. That was the minhag by him, which, by the way, I think it's Shulchan Aruch even says that this is. So he said, "Ba balaganpo." What's going on? So talking about Obama becoming president. So he said, this is where his Hebrew, but I heard it by ears. He said that Obama, who aneshama shel hordus. Hordus was a black man, as it was. Says the neshama of hordus. Okay. I don't know, who Rosh Hashanah, how he knew what he knew, and what he knew, and who he talked to, and conversations that he had with Mekubalim. He was, you'll see as stories come out that he had a kesher with many, many different interesting people and different Messiah. But he says the neshama of hordus. So it's not just that. What's the neshama of hordus? So he said that, but the neshama is always hafuch from where it came from. He explained, and he says hordus started off as a tremendous Sonei Yisrael. He was Harag Talmidei Chachamim. He was not Hordus, Herod, not Hadrian. Two different people. Herod. So Hadrian was 100 years later. So, but Hordus was Harag Talmidei Chachamim. He was always suspicious and paranoid, and he killed Talmidei Chachamim. He was very worried about the Jews being married b'malchus at that time. And causing a rebellion. This was a Roman obsession. The Jews are going to make a rebellion. But he says, but himself nasa oyev Yisrael. At the end, he built the Beis Hamikdash. The Mishalai, in other words, somehow he after he killed everybody, he calmed down, and he said, "What should I do?" He asked the leftover Jews, "What should I do to do tshuva?" They said, "Listen, the Beis Hamikdash is falling apart with all this Roman stuff. So let's rebuild it." So he rebuilt it. Where it says, "Mishalai ra binyan hordus, ra binyan yafa me'olam." He built the nice as what you see now, a little bit that you see now is binyan hordus. He rebuilt the Beis Hamikdash. So he was a Sonei Yisrael, ended up being an Oyev Yisrael. He says with the new president, he's going to start off looking like an Oyev Yisrael, but at the end he's going to be a Sonei Yisrael. Now it's very interesting. I'm not a politician, b'chlal. I hardly read the news, but I'm just saying that for years I'm thinking, okay, so it wasn't exactly right. Sonei Yisrael. I mean, so for Kosov, he gives a lot of money to Israel, and this. He doesn't like maybe Netanyahu, blah 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 blah. But Basof, like the very end of the presidency, Sonei Yisrael. So I was talking at the Levaya to one of the big Talmidim of Rav Moshe Shapiro, and I told him this story. So he said, "Ken," he knew that he said this. He said, and when Trump was elected, he said, "Hu haneshama shel Koresh." Cyrus. So he said, who gave permission to build the Beis Hamikdash in Yerushalayim.
Well, that's a problem.
So that's what he said. So this is the neshama. Well, so
It's not fuch.
no, it's hafuch from what he is. In other words, he seems to, I don't want to, he comes across for years and years one way, and Basof, and he said, President-elect Donald Trump said on record, I'd love to build that temple in Jerusalem.
You have to be scared of what I'm saying.
I don't know. I'm just saying, that when an Adam Gadol says something, like it's good eye to listen to what he says, and so I don't know what's going on in history. Something's going on, right? They say that January 17th or whatever it is, like
20th.
20th.
Noon on the 20th.
Yeah, the world will change. So as Hashem, we should change the time. Change the time.
Amen, amen.
Amen.
If you say